Hello everybody, I'm working on a new series of videos for the upcoming AQA English language exams, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to include some of your work, which is something I've not done for quite a while, specifically for Paper 1 Question 5 and Paper 2 Question 5. The Section B questions in the language exams are your chance to be creative, and there are lots of different ways of approaching them. So rather than me show you one answer to these questions, I'd like to showcase a range of different answers, and that's where you come in. If you'd like to have your work featured on this channel, and that can be anonymously if you wish, then why not attempt one or both of the following questions and send your answers to info@mrbruff.com, or if you want, you can simply post your answer in the comments section below. For the Paper 1 Question 5, I'm using one of the Section B questions found in my practice papers book, so choose either write a story based on this picture or describe a time you went somewhere you'd never been before. For Paper 2 Question 5, the question is this: young people are lazy, unambitious and quick to give up. They lack the skills needed to succeed in the modern workplace. Write an article for a news website in which you argue your point of view on this statement. Now let's remember a few key things for both questions. You should spend around 45 minutes on the question, including approximately 5 minutes for planning and 5 minutes for checking your work at the end. Remember that 16 of the 40 marks available are awarded for technical accuracy, so think about using a range of punctuation, varying sentence openings and types, varying sentence and paragraph length for effect, that kind of thing. Think about the structure of your answer. This comes up time and time again in the exam reports. If you're attempting the Paper 2 Question 5, provide an argument on one side or the other, taking one perspective and following it through to the end in a single identifiable argument. You must not argue both sides. Flipping backwards and forwards, disagreeing then agreeing with different parts of the statement in the question often ends up in an unclear argument, and what we're looking for is a coherent, overarching idea in your answer, and that comes through presenting a single identifiable line of argument. And let's pin that down in the mark scheme for a second. If an argument keeps shifting from one side to another, this is likely to be placed within level 2, that's half marks at best, described in the mark scheme as some successful communication. Also with the Paper 2 question, don't feel you have to cover all of the strands. Now, what I mean by strands is the fact there are lots of different argument topics in this question. We've got that young people are, number 1, lazy, number 2, unambitious, number 3, quick to give up, number 4, lacking the skills needed to succeed in the modern workplace. The November 2019 exam report said that one approach seen in the work of more successful students was to address just one or two of the strands in the statement and to write in depth about each. Students were then able to offer extended ideas, particularly if they became more complex as they developed, and were likely to achieve marks at the upper end of level 3 and into level 4. And this is a crucial point. In the mark scheme, the top band mentions using developed complex ideas, and if you're including too many ideas, it's almost impossible to develop them. This is a 45-minute question. If you're spending 5 minutes planning, 5 checking at the end, that's about 35 minutes of writing time. Add exam conditions to that, and it's almost impossible to write a developed, complex answer that focuses in depth on every part of the strands. So what should you do? Deal with as many of the different strands as suits you and your argument. There's no requirement to deal with all of them. So if we look at our sample question here, this last strand is most interesting to me. Young people lack the skills needed to succeed in the modern workplace. Now, if I was to focus solely on that strand, I could write about how today's workplace is about emerging technologies, artificial intelligence, renewable energy, virtual reality, and I could explore how, in this rapidly changing job market, we don't yet know what tomorrow's workplace will look like, and how as a result, young people need to learn transferable skills that can be applied to a variety of different fields: problem solving, critical thinking, collaboration, and that would lead into writing about the irony of the fact that the very technology companies likely to employ young people in the future are also contributing to the problem, because we're spending all of our time on devices and failing to develop these skills. Now that could be the basis of a complex and developed answer, and it would just cover that final strand, and that would be fine. Finally, if you're attempting the story question, avoid long sections of dialogue. Both the June and November 2022 exam reports pointed this out as an issue. For those of you attempting the Paper 1 Question 5, you might find this video really useful, and I'll link it in the description. For Paper 2 Question 5, there's this one. Again, I'll link it in the description. Now let's say the closing date to send entries in is the 15th of March, so that gives us plenty of time if teachers want to set this as homework too. I'm planning on using a range of answers in upcoming videos. Your answer doesn't have to be perfect. If it's something I think we can all learn from, that's the criteria I'll be using to choose. So why not have a go, and of course subscribe to the channel so you can see the responses when we get there.